Hi everyone, Steammaster here with a review of the MISC Hull B that recently released flyable in patch 4.7.1. The Hull B was first listed in concept way back in 2015, and CIG took 11 years to release it live. I've had a Hull B in my account since it was in concept, so I'm excited to review it finally for you all now. The Hull B has grown a bit since the concept. Originally the concept was listed at 49 meters long extended, but it is now 71 meters long extended and 46 meters compressed. It's longer than the Hull A and smaller than the Hull C. It is also now 17 meters wide and 9 meters high. The Hull B is designed for a crew of up to 2 players, but a single pilot can fly the ship just fine. The bridge has 2 seats, one for the pilot and one for the co-pilot. The layout of the dashboard is not as stretched as some newer MISC ships like the Starlancer, so it's easier to see around the dashboard and outside the ship from the seats. While seated, you have great visibility to the left and right, with not so great visibility above and below you, although still better than the Starlancer ships. There are 2 MFDs for the pilot and co-pilot each, but they are below your view unless you manually aim your head down, so it's not great unless you have head tracking or VR turned on to easily look around you. There are lots of buttons to click on the dashboard as well. In the back of the bridge is a small locker to store utility devices, with space for 2 medium and 4 small devices. There is also component access in the bridge for the life support, in case anything breaks down. There is a door here leading to a corridor that leads to the back of the ship. In the corridor is component access points for the radar, computer, and battery. Behind that, in the middle of the corridor, on the starboard side, is the mess hall with a kitchen and small fridge. The fridge can hold some drinks or small foods, but the rest of the kitchen doesn't do anything. There is also a small table and benches here as well. Each bench can hold 1 person. CIG put a small window in the mess hall to bring in a bit of sunlight, but you can't really see much. You can also place a poster in the mess hall. On the port side of the corridor are the living quarters. In this room are 2 beds in bunks for players to log out from. Next to each bed is a crew storage for each player that can hold up to 1000K micro SCU each. That's quite a bit of gear stowage per person. There is a desk here with another mini fridge and a desk chair. There's not much you can do with a desk, but you can have a passenger sit in the chair if you need. There's a window above it, but again you can't really see out the window very well. There are 4 shelves for small decorative items, plus you can also place a poster in this room too. There is also a bathroom with a sink, a mirror, and a combination shower toilet. You can press a button to deploy the toilet. The bathroom comes with some toiletries like soap and shampoo, but it's not like we can use them yet though. After the corridor is the main airlock. In this section we have the crew elevator on the starboard side that leads to the ground level. This elevator is actually quite big enough to place a 1 or 2 SU container in it, and there's enough space in the airlock room to store them. But there is no cargo plating to keep them from moving around. You can also load an ATLS mech in the elevator, although the doorway prevents the ATLS from walking into the airlock room. You might be able to use a tractor beam to angle it into the room. There are also 2 suit lockers in this room, which open up but don't do anything yet. There is also a gun rack with space for 2 larger guns and 3 pistols. You can also sit down on a bench here to help suit up. There is a docking port on the port side with 2 doors. Currently it doesn't actually dock to space stations yet, but CIG has mentioned they will set up an extending docking port in the future. And you can also load items into the airlock room from this docking port, like containers or possibly an ATLS if you do it horizontally. In the rear of the airlock section is the engineering room. It has an engineering computer for managing your engineering needs. There are also access points for shields, power plants, coolers, quantum drive, and gravity generator here. The MISC Hull B is not the best defended ship, but it does have 4 size 2 shields, industrial grade B, with 2 running actively and 2 backups, similar to the Starlancer Max. Compared to ships like the Drake Caterpillar and Constellation ships, the shields are a bit weak. The hull and armor is also a little weak compared to similar sized ships. It has less hull and armor than even the Hull A right now for some reason. I don't know if it's a glitch or that the Hull B is just meant to be more delicate, but it won't hold up to damage like the Caterpillar, Starlancer Max, or RSI Hermes can. It's still tough enough to withstand a little weapons fire from small fighters to get out of trouble if you don't dilly-dally in combat zones, but watch out for your cargo grids. The cargo grids are especially delicate, so if the shields go down then the grids will fall apart, dropping any cargo it was holding. There is 1 size 2 power plant, industrial grade C. I think it's a bit underpowered, especially when you turn on guns, shields, and tractor beams, so you may want to upgrade it to a grade B or A to get a bit more juice. There are 2 size 2 coolers, industrial grade C, and they seem to work pretty well. There's a size 2 radar, industrial grade C, with an aim assist range of 1.3 kilometers. It's actually a pretty good radar for any cargo ship this size, but you may want to consider grade B or A radars to help detect enemies or cargo at further distances, as well as any gun assists. There are 6 main engines in the back, 2 large ones and 4 smaller ones. There are also 21 maneuvering thrusters around the ship and 4 retro thrusters. The retro thrusters can take a little while to slow the ship down, so make sure to give yourself enough time when approaching a target to slow down. There are no VTOL engines, so takeoffs from places with gravity can be a little slow. The Hull B is also not the most maneuverable ship, but is slightly more maneuverable than the Starlancer Max and Hermes ships, so it works well enough with turning. It does have lots of forward power, but is not the fastest ship, nor does it accelerate quickly. It has an SCM speed of 145 meters a second, with a max boost of up to 340 meters a second. It has a nav speed of 960 meters a second. This makes it one of the slowest cargo ships in forward speed for its size, but compared to how much cargo it carries, it's not too bad. It's slower than ships like the Starlancer Max or Hermes, but faster than the Drake Caterpillar. Now, the Hull B does have very large fuel tanks. It can hold 210 SU of hydrogen fuel and 5.7 SU of quantum fuel. Not as much as a Drake Caterpillar, but definitely more than a Starlancer, Constellation, or Hermes ship. The Hull B has a size 2 quantum drive, civilian grade C, with a max speed of 171,000 kilometers a second, and a range of 356 gigameters. There's also a civilian grade C jump drive for jumping between systems. You could upgrade these drives, maybe industrial ones or grade B or A, if you want to get more distance or go faster. The MISC Hull B has cargo grids in the middle that open up on a spindle, like the Hull A and Hull C. For the Hull B, they are in a diagonal position, allowing the Hull B to carry 512 SU of cargo externally, while still being able to land in medium hangars or on planets. The cargo grids are placed very well, making it easy to load and unload cargo. You can store containers from 1 SU to 32 SU sizes. You can stack containers up to 2 SU high, so 2 1 SU containers high, or a single 8 SU container high. You can also load seats and couches on the cargo grid, and people can actually sit in the seats, even when the ship collapses. You can load an ATLS or GEO into 4 SU containers, and then load them on the Hull B cargo grid. To do this, buy a 4 SU store-all box from the space station cargo stations. Then in your hangar, go to the cargo computer, lower the elevator, then move the container to the left side. Double-click to open it. Then just drag the ATLS from the right to the container on the left. Then click the up arrow on top to close it. Then raise the elevator and load the container on the cargo grid. You can extract the ATLS using the same method on any cargo elevator with a cargo computer. For weaponry, the Hull B has 2 pilot-controlled guns under the bridge, 2 size 3 laser repeaters. They don't have large capacitors, so you may have to bump up the power to make sure they keep firing. They can do decent enough damage against light fighters or very small ships, but larger ships can resist them. On top of the ship is a remote turret that the co-pilot controls. It also has 2 size 3 laser repeaters on it, with slightly larger capacitors on it so you can fire longer than the pilot can. The turret has good firing angles to the front and sides, but not behind or below the ship. There are also 2 remote tractor beam turrets near the back of the ship, behind each cargo grid. These are size 2 tractor beams and powerful enough for size 32 containers. They have a pretty decent view of the cargo, although some people would prefer that they stick out a little more to get a better angle. Then there is a missile hardpoint with 8 size 3 missiles, electromagnetic. The missiles pop out of the chin when active. You cannot change out the missile launcher, but you can change out the missiles. These missiles can do very good damage if they hit. The MISC Hull B initially went for $90 back in 2015, but now at release it runs for $280, which is a huge jump. There is a War Bond cash sale for $260, and concierge members can get that sale with a paint too. The Hull B is new, so it's not for sale in-game yet, but probably in a future patch. The default paint on the Hull B is a shiny metal paint, but you can also buy other paints. There's a white, black, and yellow Empyrean paint, the two-tone gray and white Horizon paint, a gray and gold Dusk paint, the black and yellow First Light paint, only for concierge members, and then the limited time white and blue Keystone paint, only for the Captains of Industry event. The MISC Hull B is an excellent hauler. It can carry almost as much cargo as the Drake Caterpillar, and much more than the Hermes and Starlancer Max, but it holds the cargo externally for ease of access, where other ships are trickier to move the cargo in and out. The dual tractor beams make loading and unloading very easy, so you don't require people outside the ship to load if you don't want to. This would make it great for salvaging containers from shipwrecks or even for piracy, if you have someone that can take out the ship first. The slightly higher speed and maneuverability than the Caterpillar makes it a great ship to fly for this much cargo. The crew quarters are comfortable, and it only requires a crew of 2 to man the ship fully, a much smaller crew than other ships like the Caterpillar or Starlancer series. The Hull B has long-range fuel tanks and quantum drives, so it is very affordable for long-range cargo hauling. You can also load a few small containers inside the ship too, or maybe carry a passenger or two on the seats and benches. One weird use of the Hull B is putting lots of chairs or couches on the cargo grid and loading people on it, like a giant transport. Just make sure all the people have undersuits on and have enough air to last the trip. But you could use the Hull B as a passenger transport or maybe troop transport like this. Maybe in the future CIJ will allow us to load ground vehicles on the cargo grid for even more uses. There are drawbacks with the Hull B, of course. The shields and armor are not as good as ships that size or larger, so it can be a delicate ship in dangerous space. Losing shields means your cargo is exposed and can even fall off with enough damage. You don't have internal cargo to keep your cargo safe, so it's easier for enemies to steal your cargo. The Hull B would not be a good smuggling ship, sadly, because of this. Second, there is only one turret on the ship, and it mostly only covers the front and sides. There is no coverage for the lower part or aft of the ship, especially against combat ships that are more maneuverable, which is pretty much most of them. The front pilot guns only help if a target is in front of you, and with the lower maneuverability of the ship than fighters, that probably won't be the case. Next, the front guns and turrets are only size 3, so it won't help in fighting larger ships with heavier shields. You could install size 3 cannons instead of repeaters for more damage, but they will be slower. And finally, you can't currently carry any significant ground vehicles on the Hull B. You can load some very small hover bikes like the Mirai Pulse or Origin X1 in the elevator, but nothing else. So you won't be able to do an extensive ground-based cargo transporting or exploration. You can load the ATLS or GEO on the ship elevator and store them in 4SCU containers as well, so you can use them for cargo transporting or ground mining, but they can't travel very far or fast by themselves. Beyond that, the MISC Hull B is a great cargo ship for the verse, and I'm eager to see other players flying them around everywhere. It's really only good for cargo, but what it does amazingly. It holds more cargo than the Hull A and needs less crew than the Hull C, so it's a good in-between ship. Alright, so that's it for the MISC Hull B review. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. You can use my referral code if you decide to jump into Star Citizen, and you'll get 5,000 extra in-game credits. And you save more if you get one of the starter packs that's typically on sale. Here's a big thank you to my current patrons, Alana, Brandon, Vash Wildheart, and Asog88. Please check out my Patreon membership to help me make more videos. All patrons members will have their names listed at the end of my videos and get access to my Discord channel. Patrons can join my Discord and request particular videos for me to make, or have discussions. So feel free to sign up and let me know what you'd like to see next. Okay, catch you all next time.